For more than 20 years, the Cam Neely Foundation for Cancer Care has been raising money and providing services for cancer patients and their families. Earlier this month, they opened the brand new Marlene Neely Center for Digestive Health at Tufts Medical Center, a project with a very personal story behind it. Joined now by Paulina and Cam Neely, who in his spare time is also president of the Boston Bruins. Good to see you both. When you started this thing 20 plus years ago, Cam, one, what was the motivation? I know, but they may not. And two, did you ever think it would be where it is 20 plus years later?
Well, I'll answer the second question first. No, I had no idea we would have this type of impact and success over the 20 years. We've got a great donation base, and everybody's been touched by cancer one way, shape, or form, and that's what happened in my family. Both my parents were diagnosed with cancer within months of each other, and unfortunately they both lost their lives with the battle of cancer. So I felt that there was a need to help cancer patients and their families.
And the first part, the Neely House, we've all heard about.
Right.
That happened pretty quickly. Thousands of people have come through. It's a place like a sort of a bed and breakfast deal
Right.
for cancer patients and their families. What kind of feedback do you get from people?
Well, there's a lot of stories that we didn't really think would happen that ended up being great stories. For example, we're in Tufts Medical Center, and it's just been renovated with the help of Paulina. Did a great job of renovating the space. It's now 20 years old, so it needed some TLC. But there's a story of a woman whose son was being treated at Tufts, and she could sit in the family room at the Neely House and actually face the window where her son was in the hospital. And she said when she saw his light go out at night, that gave her peace that she could go to bed. And then there's another story of a family that their daughter was being treated. They lived at the house for a year. The daughter was 2 when she left. So the daughter learned how to walk at the Neely House. So you can imagine the need for a facility like that.
Tell us about the new facility, named obviously after his mother.
Well, this is a facility that we just opened in January, second week of January. It also was a very old space. I'm not sure exactly how old, but it was very, sort of not coordinated very well. And the main doctor there, Dr. Weinstock, said if, the patients would be shuffled from one room to another. Everything was very old. Of course, all the appointments are very evasive. Everyone was very uncomfortable, and the space was just beat up. So
And this is like a one-stop now, right? You can
it is. We're not done with the surgical unit part, but for the clinical appointments, that space is open, and it's just unbelievable. It's beautiful. It's cutting edge. It's new. It's clean. It's also very uplifting. I think when you're going in, you're very scared for any of these possible procedures or diagnoses, so it sort of makes the patient feel a little bit more at ease.
Speaking of uplifting, when you walk in, we're going to show you a picture of what people see. Could you read this poem that people see as they enter?
This is a poem from our son, Jack. Much time has passed since your smile graced the world. Although we've never met, I feel I know you well. Recognizing you from countless stories of your loving nature and unparalleled dedication to family, everyone stands to learn from your selflessness. Never failing to better the lives of those around you. Ever grateful for your legacy, Jack Neely.
What does that do for you when you see your kids thing there?
Well, it means a great deal. My children, or my parents had never met my wife and my children, so to have them involved with the foundation that's in memory of my parents is pretty special. And the thing I love about this poem, we had asked Jack, would you be, because he loves to write and he likes poetry, and we had asked him would he do something, and he tackled this. And the thing I love about it is, and I pointed out to people, that the first letter in every sentence spells out my mother's name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, do you ever stop to say what your mother would think of this thing if she were around to see this incredible tribute to her?
Well, she would be very proud of anybody that's involved with this project. She'd be extremely proud that we are doing something to help others.
Okay, so you know him better than anybody. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes.
Okay, which matters more to him? Scoring, was it 50 goals in 49 games? Or raising $1 million at Comics Come Home for this cause? Which is the one that really juices him up, really does it for him, Paulina?
Both. Even split. Pretty much, yeah, for sure.
Is it harder now to raise? I mean, I don't mean to get into headachy stuff, but there are tax law changes. It makes it harder for middle-class people, not for really wealthy people, middle-class, average people to make contributions. It's likely less deductible. Do you worry about the impact that's going to have on your work?
Well, it's certainly, it's hard to begin with. I mean, there's so many great causes out there, and people have to be kind of affiliated in one way, shape, or form of why they want to give. And we try to give great reasons because you can actually see and touch and feel where their money's going. We're not a bank. We want to try and help people right away. But the thing that I always say is whether you give a dime or your time, it makes a difference, and it will continue to make a difference.
Is it true that hockey players are nicer than other athletes? Is that true? You would know. Are they?
I'm going to stick with that.
You are? Are they more charitable, too?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Congratulations on this work.
Thank you
It's
so
really
much.
exciting.
Appreciate
Pauline,
it.
a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Cam, thanks
Yeah,
so much.
nice to
Really
see you.
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thanks so
Thank
much, both of you. For more information about the Cam Neely Foundation for Cancer Care, visit camneelyfoundation.org.